Hey guys, and thanks for tuning back into Karma Challenge. This here's Joe as always, and we're coming back with another episode of Let's Talk About Anime/Cartoons with Joe. Today I think we're going to do a little bit of a freeform discussion. Normally I would plan these things out ahead of time and decide exactly what I want to talk about when. I was thinking about doing either a part 2 video for the Boruto discussion because there was a few more things that I wanted to talk about in that video, or even perhaps doing kind of like a review episode for like Black Clover. But I realized that, this series is called Let's Talk About Anime/Cartoons with Joe, and so far we've really only talked about anime. I mean, we had 2 different top 10 videos for my top 10 favorite anime and my top 10 favorite cartoons, but then it was immediately followed by an anime discussion, Boruto, and every time I tried to think of like something else that I wanted to talk about, it always came back to anime. And I don't want to just be, anime exclusive, because it's right up there in the name. It's anime and cartoons. So even though I really don't have anything planned, I just kind of want to have like a free-form discussion about cartoons. And I think just let's start it off with like Steven Universe. Now I know that Cartoon Network kind of spoiled the ending, or where Steven Universe is going. I have not looked into that at all because I do not want it spoiled for me. One thing that I really enjoy about Steven Universe is the fact that it kind of keeps you guessing, and that it makes a left when you think it's going to make a right. Now, not all the time is it super surprising, and spoiler alert if you're not caught up with Steven Universe. Steven's mother, Rose Quartz, being Pink Diamond, that wasn't really a shock. That's something that I saw coming for a very long time, especially this last season. They've been hinting at that pretty fucking hard. A lot of people are saying that it ruins the show and whatnot, that his mom was a diamond. I disagree entirely. I think that that only tends to add more to the show. It explains why Steven has so many powers. It explains why his particular gem seems to affect other beings a hell of a lot different than a normal gem that we've ever seen does. It explains his connection with the diamonds. It explains basically where Rose Quartz came from and why she felt the way that she did. It just explains so much. It's just such a good tie-in that if you've been watching Steven Universe this entire time and you were surprised by that, I'm surprised that you were surprised. Like I said earlier, the show is very good at doing a little bit of misdirect, and it's very good at going left when you think it's going to go right, kind of deal. But that was one of the things that, for me personally, I always kind of saw coming. And I really feel like, it's necessary for the story for that to move on. Because now that Steven knows that his mom was a diamond, he has a much higher potential of brokering peace between the crystal gems and the diamonds armies from Homeworld. Especially since Homeworld doesn't seem to be doing very well. They're having a lot of rebellion, they're running out of resources, they're not really being able to control their military very well. People are figuring out that they have minds of their own, and they don't necessarily want to be controlled by the diamonds anymore, and that the diamonds aren't nearly as perfect as, that they say they are or they claim to be. It seems like it's getting ready to either start another war, which I really don't see that happening. Maybe a battle or two, but I don't see a war happening. Or, true peace. And Steven is definitely going to be the center of that. I feel like now that he knows that he's a diamond, he'll probably discover whatever dormant powers that he has left to discover. He'll kind of harness them, and he'll be able to broker that deal between himself the crystal gems and the diamonds. He'll finally be able to have the diamonds see the value of mortality and intelligent life other than their own, and seeing the fact that the way that they're going about like harvesting natural resources just isn't going to work. You know, the whole show, Steven Universe, is based in, you know, a peace utopian Earth to begin with, like an Earth that never had a war. There's a lot of things that I kind of disagree with there. Not because I believe like there could have been a planet without war. It's just there's certain technologies that only really happened or were created because of wartime, and like were advanced upon because of wartime, that exist within Steven Universe. So I mean, it's totally plausible that we came to the same conclusions, because we don't know the timeline of Steven Universe. We know that at least the crystal gems have been on the planet for like at least 1,000 years or so. So they've kind of seen our evolution, but just from the few hints that we get from the past of Steven Universe, it just seems like they wouldn't have progressed as fast as they did if there were no conflict. So that always has kind of bugged me a little bit about the show. But the show is so good at like talking about peace and talking about acceptance, and just, you know, accepting people as they are, no matter who they like, no matter what gender they identify as, no matter what relationship they're in, be it multiples or singles or same gender, different gender. Doesn't matter. It's just all about love and respect and honing that for like your own person and as your own inner responsibility. And on the same the same time, they're also giving you this very entertaining show with lots of little musical numbers that are very catchy, that get stuck in my head all the fucking time, as well as like very good art and like underlying just straight up like parent advice. Like the whole every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. Now that might sound like a really stupid thing and something that you would just like quote to begin with when you first start watching Steven Universe, and sure, yeah, it is a little stupid thing, but the more you think about it, the more meaning that has, and it's such a good way to like show that kind of phrase to a child, for them to understand it and understand what you mean, and then later on reflect about it, even if it's just subconsciously, and understand that, hey, you know, not everyone's perfect, and there's no need for everyone to be perfect, because if everyone was perfect, then we wouldn't have other things in our lives that we love, that are just as, you know, great as the quote-unquote perfect thing is. And that is just little nuggets of advice like that that's just spread throughout Steven Universe, as well as seeing him mature. He's still a child, but seeing him mature basically from a child, total goofy kid, into this well-rounded like human being teenager, who is much, you know, wiser than most teenagers nowadays, and just straight up role model at this point. That is just really awesome. I love to see that in a show, and we just don't get that very often. I know that I wanted this talk to be more of a free form, but hey, you know, Steven Universe is one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and once I get talking about that, that's pretty much all I want to talk about for a while. So if you guys enjoyed, you know, talking about Steven Universe with me, I know it's kind of one-sided here, but I would love to see your comments, love to see what you guys want me to talk about, because I really do like this kind of free-form talk. I am trying to set up a couple collabs in the future, so that it's not just me kind of rambling, but rambling with someone else, to kind of like have counterpoints maybe, or to agree upon things. I am trying to set that up. Hopefully it's not too far away, but if you guys did like this, you know, please hit that like button. It tells me that you like this and that you want to see more content like this. And if you really like content like this, or you really like other stuff that you've seen on my channel, please hit that subscribe button, or feel free to like share any of my videos with your friends. It really helps me out a lot. It just makes me want to do this, because I want to continue doing this. I very much love doing YouTube, and I want to continue doing YouTube. And any views that I can get, any subscriptions that I can get, or likes, which just gives me that little bit of motivation, to keep doing it. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you this time. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.